Okay. Sajin, I think there is some problem with the connection. You just need to recheck your headphones or something like that because everyone is properly hearing me. Fine. So, okay. So, let's start with our APM stuff. So, what I was saying was that we have different tools. Fine. What we do is we directly choose the tool that, okay, I'm going for APM, but we never know that why we are choosing APM only. Why we're not choosing Selenium and why we're not using Calabash for that stuff. Fine. So in this session, what we will be doing is I will be giving you the answer to your queries that why APM only, why not Selenium. Fine. So if you talk of market, we have currently four famous tools that are present in the market. One is Calabash, then we have Appium, then we have Selenium, and then we have iOS driver. Okay. So what I'll do here is let me annotate and explain. So this would give us a more clear picture. Okay, if I talk of tools like I have one, two, three, and four. Okay, so on a nutshell, this is. Uh, Please keep your microphones on hold because I'm getting my echo again and again. So kindly keep your headphones on mute. Okay, so this would be mobile automation. Fine. This is you can say the parent, and inside this I have major four tools as first of all it is Appium, then the another one is Selenium. Fine. Similarly, the third one is iOS driver, and the fourth one is Calabash. Look, there are many more tools present in the market, but I am only concentrating on the four. One more tool nowadays there is one more tool that is pretty famous with the name of Perfecto Mobile. Fine. So there are n number of tools. Fine. So I'll cover slowly each and every tool that which tool we will use and at what instance of time which tool would be recommended. So all amongst the tools, these four tools are the you can say they have captured most of the market. Fine. So if I talk of this APM first of all, that you can say what are the key features of this APM and why we use this APM. Fine. First of all, this APM can be used for Android and iOS. So iOS, another one is Android, means it is used cross-platform. The same APM code can work. Like if I have my APM jars, fine. Then I have the APM jars for iPhone and Android. So the same APM could be used cross-platform. Fine. Look like if you talk of this iOS driver, fine. This one, this has a limitation, as the very name suggests, iOS driver. Well, it is only for iPhone. You cannot use it for Android because pretty name is clear. So you can say this is the key feature of APM that it is available for both iOS and Android. Fine. And then one more key feature here is that you don't need any APK to use it. Fine. Just be with me. I'll go just slowly by slowly. What I'm stating here is I'm just trying to explain you the features of Appium, Selenium, iOS, and Calabash. Then we'll go in depth about each and every feature. That why this feature is there, what to use, and all that stuff. Fine. This I'm just giving you an overview so that you could be clear that okay, if I talk of like no APK feature, you should be aware. Okay, I'm talking of Appium only. Fine. So what is this no APK feature? First of all, the question is what is APK? Then we'll talk of what is APK feature. First of all, we should be aware of the fact what is APK. Look, in your Android phone, when you install any application, it is with the extension of .apk. Fine. It is, you can say, the executable file in Android code, right? Like if you talk, if you have your like we have WhatsApp in our phone, we have Facebook in our phone, we have n number of apps in my phone. All the apps in the Android are with the extension of .apk. Similarly, like if I go to Windows, if I install any software, the extension is .exe. Fine. Similarly, in the Mac, if I go, there is extension with a you can say with a .dmg. So look, every OS has some specific extensions because your operating system only understands that specific extension. Okay, look, if I not give .apk in Android, it will not understand that it is an Android application. Similarly, I will not have .exe as extension is Windows, my Windows machine will never detect that we have to install that software. Fine. So similarly, different OS have different extensions. So this is the APK. Now we come to in Appium. What is this no APK feature? Fine. Look, if I talk of Selenium, what I'll do is I'll keep on comparing others also with Appium so that we could be aware that what is present in Appium and what is not present in others. If I talk of this Selenium, fine. First of all, this Selenium is only available for Android. Fine. For iPhone, Selenium do not work. After that, if I come to the another feature, fine, it need APK. Look, this Appium, it works without APK also. If I don't have that APK, still it will work. Whether I have that my APK file or if I don't have my APK file, I can use the code very smartly in both the ways in Appium. But for Selenium, fine, you need to have that executable file. Fine. I can also show you with some example also. Okay, let me detect my phone. Look, this would be the software that I would be using to just detect my phone and all that stuff. Fine, but before that, what I'll do is I'll explain you about this APK stuff. Look, I have extracted some APKs from my phone, like the example of 99 acres .apk. These all are APK that I have extracted from my phone. Like I would be having here Google Maps, fine, like WhatsApp.apk. So as you can see, look, every file has extension with .apk, like WhatsApp.apk, ScaleImageView.apk, eBay.apk, Contact Manager. So similarly, if I have any Android file, all the files would be having the extension .apk. Fine, this would be the, you can say, extension that I would be using. I think this gives you a pretty clear picture. Look, I'll also explain this. What I was trying to open the Android screen, I'll also explain about that. But first of all, I just want you to understand the extension stuff. Fine. So if I come back here and I'll open the same pictorial representation. Fine. So I think this APK, first of all, this APK is clear to you. What is this APK? Now I was trying to show you that I have some APKs, like I have WhatsApp APK and Facebook and Google Maps APK. So that is a kind of executable, because if you will tap over it, then you can say that you can install that application in your phone. Fine. So that is the executable file. So now what Appium says is, if you have APK, it's okay. If you don't have that APK, your app is installed in your phone, that is pretty fine. You can also use that also. But in Selenium, it is a major requirement that you should have that executable file. Another, you can say, in a vice versa case, it will not work. Fine. So if I move further now, so there is no APK. And one thing more here is the main, you can say, key feature. It is giving multi-language support. Fine. So this is the, you can say, main key feature also, that you can use n number of languages. Here multiple languages means like Java. Then you can say I have Python. On the similar ground, I can use Ruby also. Fine. So in Appium, like our course would be, that would be run around this Java concept only. Fine. But like if you want, you can also Ruby person can also go for this Appium, and this Python person can also go for this Appium. So similarly, if I come here with the help of the Android, fine. So this Android also give us multiple support. So this is also giving me something like this. Fine, like I have multi-language support and all that stuff. So on the similar ground, I have another. Now look, I have compared this Appium and Android. Fine. Now it comes the turn of this iOS driver and Calabash. Look, as the very name suggests, iOS means it would be Apple or iPhone specific. Fine. So it will only work for this iOS stuff. Fine. Now, in case of iPhone, you don't have this APK or something like that. In iPhone, I have like DMG. Fine. And for iPhone, look, the .dmg is extension of you can say Mac. And for, you can say, your iPhone, the extension is .ipa. IPA is similar to APK only. Fine. So look, this Appium is used for iPhone and Android. Means the APK stuff is also supported and this IPA stuff is also supported. But in case of your Android, only APK is supported. Means it is only for Android. Similarly, for your iOS driver, it is supporting only IPA. Means it is only for iPhone only. Fine. Now, if I come to this Calabash, look, personally, what after Appium, I recommend the tool as Calabash only. It is very great tool. It has vast features. Fine. First of all, the main key feature of this Calabash is, you can say, it is Ruby based. So you need to learn Ruby if you want to go for this Calabash. Fine. Second is, it works on the concept of BDD, like something, it is like, you can say, behavior driven development, and it uses Cucumber for that. Look, at earlier times, if you'll go to the GitHub rating, I think you guys might be aware of the term that what is this GitHub. Fine. So if you check the GitHub rating of this different tools present in the market, Appium has the largest share. There was a time, if I talk of a year back, 1.5 year back, the Calabash was capturing the major market. Fine. But with the evolution of this Appium, the market for this Calabash is gradually dropped. The reason behind it is, look, first of all, it is Ruby based. So you need to learn Ruby first of all. And Ruby is somewhat tedious language as compared to Appium. Fine. Secondly, you need to learn this BDD and this Cucumber stuff. Fine. So look, it was a kind of a overhead on the automation guys, that they need to excuse me, they need to learn this Cucumber, they need to learn this behavior driven. Look, it is BDD means behavior driven development. So you need to learn this BDD tool, Cucumber, Ruby. So it was kind of a overhead. Fine, it was, you can say, a burden to the automation guys. They need to learn so much of the stuff. Like they were more treated as a developers only. So in that case, there was you can say, there was some kind of problem that rose with the automation guys. So as the, you can say, when this Appium was launched, it was kind of a, you can say, everyone was, it was just a center of attraction for each and every automation person. Because look, Java is pretty simple compared to Ruby. And in this Appium, you don't have that concepts of Cucumber, BDD. It is a very plain Java language that uses Selenium commands. So that's why Appium covered the major market share. Fine. The main reason was this only. Now, look, now it means this Calabash is out of picture, first of all. Or we won't be doing this Calabash. Now it comes the turn of Appium, Android and iOS driver. iOS driver is also, you can say, it is specific to iPhone only, so this is also out of picture. Now there comes the two terms. Look, finally, maximum student ask me question that, and they are also confused with the term between Appium and Android. They used to ask me that should I go for Appium class or should I go for Android class? So the question is wrong here. The question should not be that which one to use. The question is that sorry, I'll ameliorate my statement. The question should not be that whether which should I use this Appium or Android. The question, you can say, the question should be when to use Android and when to use Appium. Look, I'm just trying to modify my statement. Not to use which tool. The question should be when to use the tool. Fine. So what is the main difference when to use? So if I talk of this Appium stuff, first of all, fine. Let me give you more example for this Appium. Look, there are different phones in the market. Fine. Like if I talk of, first of all, there is 2x, 3x, fine, 4x. I'll explain about what is this x. These are the different versions, like 5x, 6x. First of all, what is this 6x? As you guys would be having your Android devices, fine. So if I talk of this 6x, this is Marshmallow, like 6.1, 6.2. Here x means 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. Similarly, if I talk of this 5x, 5 was the fifth version of Android was Lollipop. Fine. Then we have 5.1, inside that 5.1, 5.2, 5.3. Similarly, I have 4. I have KitKat version. Fine. That 2x means the donut one. So I have different versions of Android. Here x represents the different versions. Like 6.1 is Marshmallow, 5.1 is, you can say, Lollipop. Like 4.4.4 was KitKat, 4.2 was something like that. Fine. So I have n number of different Android versions that are being present in the market. Look, as a layman, what I'll say that okay, my Android phone has 6x version, or I'll say my Android phone has 6.1, that is Marshmallow. Fine. This is the terminology that is being used by the, you can say, layman people. But if you talk of in terms of developers, developer never used to say that okay, I'm making an app on a phone that is would be suppose you can say as Samsung S6 with version as Marshmallow, or now you can say you have 7x also, that is Nougat. Fine. Your developer will never say that okay, I'm developing this app on 6x, 5x. They will talk more in the terms of API levels. Fine. Google gives you some API levels. Like I come here 11, then we have this 12, then 13, similarly 14, 15, and there are n number of till, then from, you can say, from 17, 18, and I can say 21, and 25 is the latest one. API level, fine, and this would be the version here. Got my point? So I'll explain what is look, version. I think you are pretty clear. What is this version stuff? That we people used to talk, like laymen used to talk. That okay, I'm having Marshmallow. That is 6x. Most of the people don't know about this 6x, 7x also. They used to simply say, I have Marshmallow in my device, I have Nougat in my phone, I have KitKat in my phone, I have Lollipop in my phone. Fine. the people who would be pretty more, you can say layman also would be more technical. They would say, okay, I have 6x in my phone, that is Marshmallow, or I have just updated my Android to 7th version, that is Nougat. But look, developer will never say this thing that I am developing my app for 7x. They will say that I am developing my app for API level 11 or API level 13 or API level 15, 17 or 25. So look, this 2x, this 3x, this corresponds to the specific API levels only. Fine. Like if I talk of this 2x, and this corresponds to 11. Okay. Similarly, like if I talk of this 3x, this corresponds to this 12. Similarly, this 7x, this corresponds to 25. So these different versions. Fine. This corresponds to the different API levels. Like if I have my 7x Nougat in my phone, fine. The API level that it is mapped to is 25. Similarly, if I have 6s in my phone, that is mapped to API level 21. So what this API level 21 means this 6s or this 6x would having all the features that were present till 21 API level. Means it would be having features of 5x, 4x, 3x, 2x. All these features would be present in 6s. So it will start from 21. Look, what Google do is when it introduces a new version of its Android, like if they have introduced Nougat or they have introduced Marshmallow, they will try to obsolete the previous features that are, you can say, no more used or that are very old. Fine, they will try to eradicate all those features also. So these specific versions, this corresponds to a specific API level. Fine, look, if I'll make any application, if I am a developer and if my client says, okay, you need to target the API, you need to target all the devices that are in market from 4x version, means from KitKat till Nougat. So what will the developer do is he will hard code that, okay, my API level would be from 16 or 17 till 25, because he don't want to give the support to the previous devices. Fine. So similarly, in that manner, if I talk of from 11 till this 15, we have a set, and then from 16 till 25. Fine. So now I'll give you the answer of the question that when to use Appium and when to use Selenium. Okay. So look, Appium supports from API level 16 till 25. Fine. And Selenium supports from API level 11 to 15. So the answer to the question would be that when to use Appium and when to use Selenium depends on the business requirement of your project. If your business requirement of project is okay, you need to make an app for all the lower end phones. Fine. Like nowadays, first of all, no one uses lower end phones. We don't. I think there would be just 2 or 3 phones that from 100 phones. If I have 100 phones in the market, there would be only 1 or 2 phones that would be having this older version. All are having new highly upgraded RAM with 1 or 2 GB of RAM, and similarly, like OS is also KitKat Plus, means the OS is this 4 plus. But still, if your client says that okay, you need to go for a lower version, then you will follow this Selenium approach. Fine. So in maximum of the cases, this is the Appium is used, because look, for Appium, if you want to use this Appium, the benchmark has to be this 17 API level. Fine, you have to follow the API level for look, your Android or your Android developers will when they will say that they are supporting minimum for KitKat version. So then you can use your Appium. If they are saying okay, they are developing an app that is having 2x version, that is Donut, then you need to use this Selenium. One thing more, this 2x version, this 3x version, these are obsolete in the market. Even Google do not provide the support for these stuff. Fine. So that is why this you can say this Appium is used a lot. Fine. Only due to this reason only. Now I'll give you one more example also. Okay. Just go to Google and type Perfecto mobile automation. Fine. And let's go to this Perfecto mobile. Okay. And let me go to this compare test. Okay, look, they have changed something. Earlier in this site, fine, they were just giving the compare test. That they were just trying to show that okay, which tool has the major market share. Fine, they have changed it right now. First of all, because in that they used to show the GitHub ratings also. That what is the major GitHub rating that like Android is capturing what market share, Android is capturing what market share. So they were trying to show all that stuff regarding this. Now they have changed their website. Yeah, they have changed it. Okay, let me check whether that is present here or not. Yeah, they changed it. Okay, no issues. So basically, I'll find a more another link for this because that link says that Appium has the biggest market share that compared to its all the competitive automation tools in the market. And the only reason is because that I was talking of that Java stuff, that it is simple, fine comparative to Calabash and all that stuff. You don't have to just bang your head to learn more and more stuff. You don't need to learn Cucumber and all that stuff for that. That is why this Appium is, you can say this used. Fine. So now if I talk of the main feature, fine, that Appium provides that is scalability. Fine. If I'll come here. The scalability first of all. Look, you might have heard about this grid stuff. This is my grid, you can say. Okay, let me annotate it again. This is my single PC. Fine. And these are the multiple devices. So what is this grid is first of all? How Appium is used in grid? Fine. So here grid says that I can run my test suits in this different grid. This is my single machine and these are my multiple devices. So what the scalability here is, I can run my single test case on the multiple devices. So this is also a main key feature of, you can say, Appium, that it also supports the grid feature. Like if you say of this Selenium do not support this grid functionality. Fine, Calabash do not support grid functionality. Appium supports it. Fine. To some, look, if I talk of this Selenium, to some extent it support. Fine. I'll also explain what is this statement means to some extent. Look, there is a term like if I'm doing a work, either the work is fully done or it is not done. There is not a statement that it encapsulates that it was somewhat done. But I'll just say, I'll explain this stuff that what does this mean in case of Selenium. Fine, just be with me. In the coming next tutorials, I'll explain about this stuff also. So now what will I do is, look, this was all you can say the basic features of this Appium stuff, like we were trying to deal and all that stuff. Now the another question that would be that what I was talking of this API levels and all that stuff. So now we'll go to the site of official site of this Appium. So let's have a view over that. The official website of Appium is appium.io. Fine, let's go to this website. Fine, and in this website, first of all, just click over this introduction button. Fine, this button. Tap over here, and if you come down, look, what I was explaining you is also explained in this site also. Fine, if I talk of this Appium design, it says that for iPhone 9.3 plus, we need to use XC test. Fine, for if I talk of this Android stuff, I have Appium 4.2 plus. I was also trying to explain you that 4.1, 4.2, 4.3 that is mapped to the API level. This is, look, this is as good as 4.x. 4.2 is 4.x only. Fine. And it also says that if you have 2 point version like 2.x, 2.2, 2.0, all that stuff, for that we have this Selenium. Fine. So I think it is pretty clear that if I'm using this 4.2 version, means 4.x version, then I can use this Appium. If I want to go for the lower versions, fine, then I have to follow this Selenium approach. Okay. Now I'm just saying that okay, I was stating a statement, and this official website also says that okay, this statement is pretty true. So now you got the question to your answer that when to use Appium and when to use Selenium. Instead of that, why to use Appium and why to use Selenium. Fine, I think now this should be the question, then when to use it. Now if suppose you are given a project, now you can also state to your higher management, okay, if the project requirements are this, we will follow this approach, we'll follow Selenium or we'll follow Appium. But in 99% of the cases, you will end up using this Appium stuff only. Fine. Now they have given something like this UI Automator and XC test. Fine, and this instrumentation we won't be dealing with because we are not covering the Selenium, right? We are just more focusing on this, you can say, Appium stuff. So first of all, what is this UI Automator and what is this XC test? Fine, now you can say this would be the next question that would be coming in your mind. What are these stuff? So simply what I'll do here is I'll just go to Google, and first of all I'll search this iOS driver first of all. Excuse me. Fine, just write your iOS driver. And look, I have this the link of this GitHub. Fine, if I'll tap over here, it is stating me okay, I have this all that stuff, this is my iOS driver. And one thing more, if I'll talk of the features, look, we have compared Appium, we have compared Selenium. I also explained you about that stuff that okay, I have something like Calabash stuff, we need Ruby. I was pretty silent about the stuff of this iOS driver. And you might have noticed that I was just silent over the stuff. I just explained, okay, this is the .ipa file that we need to use. But now I'll just come to the features of iOS drivers also. Fine. So in that features, first of all, the main feature in this iOS is that why I have opened this link. Fine. The main feature is this JSON wire protocol. So the main feature of this iOS driver is JSON wire protocol. Fine. Now look, let me explain what is this JSON wire protocol with a diagram. I think I'll go with a pictorial representation for the same. Okay, this is my, you can say, this is WebDriver. Then I have my Appium Android or iPhone driver, and this could be my mobile app. Okay. So the WebDriver, this could be, you can say, your Appium server or Android or iOS driver, and this is my mobile app. Look, now the question is how the communication will occur. Fine. Okay. Yeah. Look, now I'm done with my diagram. So now the question is how would the communication, what is the communication channel? Fine. First of all, these tools are made at the top of, you can say, basically what we will use here is the Selenium Webdriver. You might be aware of this topology, Selenium Webdriver. And you might have heard somewhere that we have some Selenium, and in that Selenium we use some WebDriver stuff. So just be with me, I'll explain in detail. But now just you need to know that there is some topology called Selenium WebDriver. So this all stuff is made at the top of Selenium WebDriver. So we will be using the jars of Selenium. Fine, we will be using the proper code of Selenium to automate our app. Fine. So now this WebDriver, this could be, you can say, your desktop code or something like that. Fine. So WebDriver, how this WebDriver will interact with Appium, Android or iOS? This will interact, you can say, the interaction would be, say that how this will interact and how this will interact with mobile app. Fine. If I talk of my WebDriver interaction with my Appium stuff, this would be with the help of WebDriver command. Similarly, if I come here, how this will interact, it will interact with the help of Android. Look, it will be specific. I'm using, if it is Android one, that would be Android command. If it is iPhone, that would be iOS commands. Fine. So how this interaction occurs? How this WebDriver will interact with, you can say, Appium or Android on iPhone server, or and then in return they will just hit this mobile app and automate the stuff. So this stuff occurs with the help of JSON wire protocol. This WebDriver interaction will occur. This WebDriver will communicate with Appium with the help of JSON wire protocol. Right here. Fine. This is the way how your WebDriver interacts with your Appium. Got my point? So this should be very clear that how the interaction should be there. Fine. Because look, sometimes if you talk of your interview also, the interviewer will basically, he will not ask you to, okay, that you have this APK or you have this IPA, just automate it. He will ask you some basic questions just to know that, okay, whether your basics are clear regarding automation or not, whether you know the stuff in depth or not, whether you know that, okay, how this whole mechanism behaves. Fine. Look, automation is not a tedious task. Anyone can do it. The main task here is that we should be aware of the fact that how that things are happening around. Sometimes what we do is, okay, we'll have our Appium server, we'll start it, we'll run our code from Eclipse, it will run in the app, that's it. But that is not done. You should be aware of the end-to-end stuff, that you started your server, how that server interacts with your phone, how your system is interacting with your Appium server. So we should be aware of all these aspects, so that whether if I go to an interview, or if I am the interviewee, I am just trying to interview a person. I should be know that whether that person has the depth knowledge of the stuff or not. Fine. So that is why I am more concentrating on this stuff. Fine, because I'm just making this class more of as a theoretical class, because I want to give you a clear picture that, because look, if tomorrow I'll talk, okay, I'm using this JSON protocol, you should not be banging your head that what he's talking of, what is the JSON wire protocol. You should be aware, okay, in our first class he explained that there is some mechanism that our system interacts with the Appium, or our WebDriver, it interacts with the Appium with the help of some mechanism that is called as JSON wire protocol. Fine. So this is the main reason of emphasizing over this stuff. Fine. So on the similar ground, like I have this JSON wire protocol I'm trying to interact with. Now the another question would be how Android would be using this JSON wire protocol. Fine. What we would be using for this protocol stuff. So for Android, if I talk of how Android will work, look, first of all, we'll go side by side. First of all, we'll cover the Android stuff, then we'll go for the iPhone, and then we'll go for a proper framework building. Fine. So similarly, if I talk of Android first only, how this Android will interact is, this is the same official site of Appium that I was being talking of. In Android, I have a term with the name of UI Automator. Fine. So first of all, what is this UI Automator? Is UI Automator, I tap over it. Look, it is taking me to the official developer website of Android. If we'll talk of developer.android.com. Fine. So what Google has done is Google has made this UI Automator. Fine. This is, you can say, this is wrapped inside your Android Studio. Android Studio is the kind of IDE that Android developers try to use. Fine. So this tool is, just don't get confused, and just don't think that I'm going very fast and how the things are happening. I'll explain about this UI Automator also. We'll cover all these aspects. What I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to give you an overview that, okay, in the future classes I would be talking of this UI Automator. We would be extracting some stuff, so you don't get confused at that instance of time. That's why I'm just trying to give you a small picture of each and everything. Like I told you something about JSON wire protocol, I'm talking of UI Automator. So as we'll eventually grow with our classes, so I'll come to this UI Automator, I'll explain you in detail. So you should be aware of the fact, okay, this UI Automator is for Android. He was telling in the first class that we would be automating something and JSON wire protocol would be used in this stuff. So this is all regarding all that stuff. Fine. So if I come to this UI Automator, what is this UI Automator? This is, you can say, a tool that is being provided by Google, or a framework that is being provided by Google, so that we can just interact with our mobile. Fine. I'll explain about this thing, that how this UI Automator behaves, how it will work. I'll explain about this stuff. Just be with me. This is just for your knowledge that there would be a term, like if I go to the site also, the UI Automator would be used in case of Appium Android. So similarly, if I talk of in terms of iPhone, fine, because down the line we would be automating our iPhone also. So for iPhone, we have this XC test. Okay. So what is first of all this XC test? Fine. This XC test is the, you can say, kind of official framework given by Apple to automate their iPhone app. Similarly, if I talk of Android, I have UI Automator. So for Apple, I have XC test. Earlier, in the previous versions of iPhone, they were using UI automation. Yeah. So earlier I was using this Apple people were using this. Fine. Look, now they have tried totally absolute that you can say UI automation, and now they have come up with a new framework with the name of XC test. So if I talk of Android, in Android we would be learning what is this UI automator and how it works, and when we'll come to our automating our iPhone apps, then we will be considering more over what is this XC test. Fine. Now you will seeing that if I talk of, we have little bit knowledge of this stuff, UI automator and all that stuff. Now the question would be, which tool should I use? Fine. Look, I have already talked about, if look, I'm just trying to go for the compendium of all of this class, that we were talking of these tools, and we just explained about this Calabash, Appium and all that stuff. So what I recommend is Appium. Fine. And I have already explained the reason why Appium. Why not Calabash? Why not, I can say, only iOS driver? Look, if I go for only iOS driver, like I was going to this documentation of this iOS driver. This iOS driver is only used for this iOS stuff. Fine. I cannot automate them, you can say, Android and all that stuff. So in case of Appium, it gives me all the support that this iOS driver is giving for iPhone. That is also already present in this Appium. Along with that, I'm also getting a support from Android also. So that is why Appium is preferred. And regarding Calabash also, I explained to you that why Calabash. The reason behind is why not Calabash. The main reason was the, you can say, Ruby and this Groovy stuff. Groovy is also used in that stuff. That Cucumber. This is pretty hard and tough. Fine. So in the tomorrow session, what we will be doing is we will be trying to configure our Appium into our machines. And we will be covering these all aspects in our machine. So now if anyone has any doubt or any query and he wants to clear, now they can raise that. So if everything is clear, I think we can end up our session here. And tomorrow we'll be having a class at 7. So let's meet tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, sure, Rishabh. I'll share my number. Okay. Anyone has any other doubt? Please keep your headphones on mute.
Hello.
Yeah. Who's that?
Yeah, hi. This is Sachin. Sorry, I could not hear the initial part, and I missed your introduction as well.
Yeah, no issues. I have recorded this session. Fine, and I can give you the recording also.
Okay. For every session, you will be providing the recorded.
Yeah, I will be providing the code. I will be providing the recording, and everything that you need for that session.
Okay. And what's your good name?
My name is Aditya.
Aditya. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
So
Thanks,
anything? Yeah. Welcome. So any question? Any other question from anyone? So okay. Pretty thanks. I'm just ending this session.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you. What's your good name?
Yeah, my name is Rajiv Kumar.
Yeah. Hi, Rajiv.
Yeah, just I would like to know what will be the course duration.
Look, the course duration, you'll be saying that it would take taking nearly a month. And if I talk of the if you talk of number of hours that would be containing, that would be basically 25 hours basically.
Okay, and timing will be, it will fixed 7 to 8, na?
Yeah, timing would be fixed 7 to 8 daily.
Yeah, that's great actually.
Okay, so today we were pretty late because it was the first class, so people were somewhat late. So tomorrow what we'll do is we'll start sharp at 7, because look, some people has to go to office and all that stuff also. So we'll sharply start at 7 and end at